right, happy Thursday morning. We're going to focus on triceps today, rolling the triceps, a little bit of the, we'll get the ball into the shoulder and in the crannies of the neck area, and I'm going to show you how we can use this on the wall. We've gone through pretty much the entire body. Tomorrow we're going to do the whole body from start to finish, and I'll just do it like we'll just do everything without me actually teaching it. I'm just going to do it, and so you can see what it would be like in like a 12-minute roll if you were to do it every day rather than just isolating certain areas. But today we're going to isolate specifically the tricep. Triceps can get really tight when we're in positions that we don't even realize. Certainly when you're exercising and do a lot of tricep work, they can get tender and tight and a lot of trigger points back in that area. When that happens, we tend to see a lot of issues in the forearms and the typing. So if it gets tight in here, we want to roll the triceps, but we also want to get that ball into, again, the serratus, which we did on Monday, because that all gets tightened up when we're in these crunchy positions. So that's what we're going to do, is release the upper body out, especially when we get in these crunchy positions and we're stuck in this position for a while. This really helps. Okay, so as you can see, I brought this chair over because I'm not going to do it on the floor. It's a little bit difficult to roll the triceps on the floor. You can, but it's easier when you're on either a table or something where you can get into this position and be a little bit more up with your upper body rather than your own body weight on it. So tricep insertion point you've got at the elbow, and there's a lot of tissue right there. If this is the first time you're doing the rolling, actually this roller is not great for it because it's too soft. So if this is the first time you're rolling your triceps, take the time to find out what's going on, and then just remember we're always looking for range of motion around there. And the roll that we're going to do is along the muscle grid, so we're going to do that roll first. And once you just get into the moment and present with what's going on, you're going to find certain areas that are tender. If you haven't worked the triceps out, you may not have any lactic acid built up in there, so it won't be as tender, but you'll just feel the natural tension of the muscle. So just roll through that gently and see if there's any tension. Ideally roll all the way up into the armpit and along that channel, and then let's just go ahead and isolate anything for trigger points. And same type of thing, if we look at the joint, we had the knee joint, we were looking at right at that insertion point of the knee, and that can get really tight and bound up, especially if you're typing all day, and it actually comes from here. So we'll roll the forearm as well, but it's interesting where the lever of the body, the tension builds up, tends to be sometimes the elbow pain is coming from that shoulder. So we're going to look at that whole arm there. And with that piece, same type of concepts, is we want to keep the rest of the body in as much ideal, optimal alignment as possible, so we don't jack up the neck or anything while we're doing this. And you know, you can actually do both arms at the same time. So I'm going to do that and see if you can get both of those arms done at the same time. Just roll through that. Keep those shoulders pocketed. Don't let the shoulders creep up to the ear or get tight or tense. We're going to hit the neck last. So if it does get a little bit tight and tense, which I can actually feel mine getting tight just having it forward like that, then we'll get it rolled out. Okay, so think about range of motion as you go through there and releasing that out. And we'll finish that. Doesn't take but a few minutes to do that rolling for those triceps. And then I am going to go ahead and take it all the way down to the floor. So this movement that we're going to do is pretty much flat to the floor. I'm going to angle this camera down just a little bit so you can see what we're doing here. Okay. I'm going to use the roller and the ball, and we're going to start with the chest. Now, of course, you don't want your breast tissue, but you want your pectoralis muscles. So you want your pecs, you want to get the deltoid a little bit, so you're going to get the anterior deltoid. So you're going to get the front part, and then we're going to go underneath the armpit, and we're going to go to posterior deltoid, the back, and then I'm going to show you how to get the cap as our final piece. Okay, so we're just going to roll in through there. You're putting that right in the corner, and you can move your body around that, and then you can also move your arms. So you might feel like you're a little bit like a beached whale sometimes, or like it's really uncomfortable, but hopefully no one's watching you, and you can just go at it. So you don't have to worry about looking silly or ridiculous. I know when we do this in class, it takes a little bit because sometimes we feel like, oh, it's so awkward. But the more you get used to it, you really have fun with it and find that this is your friend and is very helpful in releasing out. And we get gravity as a benefit as well, because gravity is going to help us with that. So really simple. You're just looking at the muscle pieces around there, and then you're looking to do range of motion. So I have found quite a few nice little tender spots. And remember the principle of trigger points. When we find one, we want to stay on it and we want to release it. So I'm on the spot, I'm going to stay on it, and then I'm going to do range of motion around it. And then if you want to do a little bit of rolling, you can kind of roll in there. Make sure no hoodie or hair is in the way. And you can just roll on that, because that's really super easy to do. Any area that's tight or tense. I'm going to hit the outside of that cap of my deltoid. Can't quite get to the top of it yet, but I'm going to show you how we do get to the top of that. All right, so we're just rolling there, and you can start to listen to your body and feel like, okay, I need to roll to the other side. You want to make sure you're not rolling on your ribs, because you don't want to put that kind of weight on your ribs as you roll. It's going to go ahead and finish this thoracic area as well. You can just take that in that upper shoulder girdle. We get a little bit of the traps back there. And then right to the other side. So I'm going to let you do that other side. I'm going to flip over a little bit and do the other side. I want you to take the time to do it as well for yourself. Let's see what our time is. Yeah, I've got a few more minutes. So let's just go ahead and get that other side done since we're here. So get that wrapped around there. Get it in that cranny. Kind of just roll through there. So awkward not having feedback so that I can know what's going on, or to be able to observe you and see if I can give you suggestions, helpful suggestions. But range of motion, that's always going to be important. Always staying relaxed in your neck, not letting the rest of your body get jacked up. If you find a spot, okay, so you stay on it. So found a really good spot there in that nook between my insertion point at my humerus there, and so you just want to stay on that in that upper shoulder. Okay, so you've got lots of good tools, lots of good things that you can do through there. We definitely want to get that pec muscle. And look, I'm doing my range of motion back there as well. That's just rotating any kind of range of motion, and you don't have to roll too much on that. But you'll know, as you start doing this and becoming more comfortable with it, you'll know, and you'll listen to your body, and you'll trust a little bit more of how things are going with your body, and you know, have that conversation with your body. That's what you want to be doing. That's the whole point of what we do with Yogalati. All right, so I've got the ball now. Before I do that though, actually let me just show you what I do with the neck. Okay, so once you're done rolling, oftentimes what I'll do is have the class just hang out with the head on the roller. And if you have any kind of upper cross syndrome or kyphosis, I don't love doing this because you already have that neck forward piece, but when you roll gently on the occiput and the atlas at the base of that skull where the skull attaches, you can actually do simple movements like we do in Feldenkrais, where we're just slowly looking to one side and we're letting the curve of the roller actually just massage the neck. And it can be really, really relaxing and rewarding to release that neck, but we don't want to be on it too long because we're perpetuating that forward head position, which is a big and very common problem in our current society. So we don't want to have it too much. And then once you finish that, go ahead and come all the way down
And it might feel a little uncomfortable if you've had that and you have a forward head position. So if that's the case and you're working on that, let's say if I have a program that I've given a client because of an upper cross syndrome, I will definitely have them actually take the ball and put that into the upper traps that come across and that attach to that posterior deltoid. And once we do that, the range of motion that I'm going to do, so you can see where the ball is for me, it's just at my upper trap. And once it's in that position and your neck is relaxed, we're going to do simple movements. And you could do this with both balls at the same time. If you had 2 tennis balls and you have the space, you can do both arms at the same time. It's great to do that. And then we just do these movements like the elbow curl and our little cactus arms where we're sliding up and down. And then you can also do clappers. So that whole motion, that whole series of range of motion while your ball is in that upper trap is going to help a lot, especially if your upper trap are so overstretched because of the kyphosis, right? That overarching roundedness of the back. So you just want to be aware of that. And then you've got so many little spots that you can get to. So go ahead and move that ball from one spot to the other. Stay 10 to 30 seconds on that. Do the simple movements. Breathe, stay relaxed, keep the basics in. And then I'm going to tell you about one other thing that I would do, and I would do it standing. Don't necessarily have a way to do that right now, but I'm going to show you what I would do if you have a corner of a wall that you walk up to, okay? So just the corner of a wall, and I'll use this right here. Imagine this is the corner of my wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that, so we haven't been able to get right on the top of that shoulder up into the scalenes because the roller's just not going to get there, right? Unless we do a handstand, which that's not going to happen, right? So we use the wall. So what's the next best thing is putting that ball right up against there, and that's going to create that tension. Now, ideally, foam roller is not going to work because you need something stable. So that wall is going to be stable, and then you're going to have that connection, right? So that pressure from the wall as you lean right up into it and stay really relaxed. I'm actually going to show you from standing in this position. Okay, so I'm up against the wall. Make sure your core is on because you're in a forward bend. Make sure you're not using your back to hold over, you're using your butt and your core to stay strong. And then you just go up into that wall, right into the corner of it. And then you're going to let your arm hang from there. And then rotate. You can do movements with that while your ball is pressing into all of those upper scalenes, and you can move that through there. So that's stuff that you can do on your own. I've taught how to do it with another person on that whole top where their forearm is right there, and then they can move it. So that's another tool if you have someone handy. And maybe I'll do that next week. Maybe I'll focus on partner stuff because we really need that. Hopefully you're not completely isolated and all totally on your own. Hopefully you have pets or something, because I think this is definitely doing a lot of harm to our emotional well-being and our social connection, not to mention the whole situation with the economy and everything else. So going back to the fundamental principles of Yogalachi is first, do no harm, no question. We don't want to do harm looking at the whole. So what's the one thing that you can do today that's going to move your energy in a positive direction? Focus on that, do that, and you can do the same thing with certain areas of your life. As a coach, it's the wheel of life. You want to have everything ideally doing well. So how are you doing with your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, your physical well-being is in there, emotional, and how are things going with all the components there. So being mindful of that, and if you need more help with that, you can always check in with me. I'm here as a support for us. I'm committed to doing these videos at 8 in the morning and 4, and if you'll just let me know what you're looking for, what you need more of, the 12 minutes is a good bite-sized chunk of things that I figure you guys can benefit from, okay? All right, so these are your friends. This is your friend. And tomorrow we'll roll the whole body from start to finish, and I'll show, I don't want to rush through it, but in 12 minutes you can do a lot with the whole body and get the whole body covered. And if there's something you need to work on, review some of the videos that we've done already this week. It's Thursday, the sun is shining. A beautiful day to be alive. Peace and blessings. Make it a great day.